What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So before I jump in, I just wanted to say shout out to everyone that's been participating in the Video Game Fight School channel discussions. I really do appreciate all the time and effort that you put in. Even your comments, they are a big deal. They give me ideas and they kind of help me point out some things that I can't necessarily see. Just because I'm the guy that's making YouTube videos doesn't mean I know everything. If anything, 90% of what I learn from the community. So I appreciate everything so far. All right, so today I wanted to talk about something that I feel is emerging. It's a changing theme for me. And I think it's probably some sort of a changing theme as well within the community. But for us to be able to confirm that, we have to probably do a little bit more experimentation. And that is right now, other people's mains in Gotham Knights, or what players are looking forward to doing in terms of picking their own knight and maining over the course of the story. Now, for the longest time, right after the reveal, it appeared that a lot of people were leaning towards maining Red Hood and Nightwing. I think this was kind of a bigger consensus around the community, and this is because the developers had shown Batgirl and Robin, and some people were like, man, we're curious to see how Red Hood is going to play out and how Nightwing was going to play out. And I think this is one of the reasons they also did this reveal. It just happened to work out that way. They had already shown two knights. Then a lot of the demands or requests for the other two showed up and they brought these two. But right now, it seems like that trend is shifting because some people have seen the gameplay comparisons and they're like, I wonder if it will probably not be best for me to play a much more melee-based character than a projectile/melee character, and that being Red Hood, because the way the gameplay trailer kind of showcased him, there was a lot of projectile stuff going on. Yes, he did have a lot of melee as well, and I think he will, because that's just his style of fighting. If you look even from the Arkham games, even to Injustice games, you'll probably notice that they're trying their best to keep those trends, even though they're in different games. But I looked at a survey, a very short survey here on Reddit, and somebody went ahead and just said, I know this question's been asked before, and they asked for votes for, after the gameplay, how many people were going to be choosing which mains to play. And right now, it's leaning the heaviest towards Nightwing, which already doesn't necessarily surprise me. Some people also seem to want more of that melee gameplay. And then you have Batgirl as the second place. Initially, when the game was first revealed, I was looking forward to playing as Red Hood as my main and then Batgirl as second place. And I think a lot of people were in that position too. But right now, it seems like a lot more people, or a lot less people, seem to be interested in playing as Red Hood. And what's really interesting is Robin has not been getting a lot of love in terms of that. In fact, Robin's own votes were really, really low. I mean, it's way lower than Red Hood. And I don't necessarily know anything more than we just have not necessarily seen him in action. And this is what it is. If you notice, even in the first reveal, Batgirl was the primary, and then, Robin was coming in as a second player whom we got to see just a few snapshots of combat and then all of the above in terms of takedowns and him grappling around that little, I think it's like some manor, some mansion or something like that. So this is really interesting to see how opinions may be changing. But what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to go vote, or you could just say in the comment section who your main is going to be. And, if it's changed, also let me know. If it's not necessarily changed, if you're still looking forward to a specific main, go ahead and also let me know that in the comment section below. Now, here's the thing that I want to take the opportunity to give Gotham Knights credit for. You see, the past few days, we've already talked about some of the things that we want to, basically see improved with Gotham Knights. We've talked about gameplay. We've talked about traversal combat, just a whole lot of things that we feel could be tightened up very well. But there is something that I know for certain that we haven't necessarily highlighted too much of. And that is the fact that you've got to give respect to the ambition of this game. Now, what I mean by that is, if you look at a lot of other superhero games, a lot of the games that really have excelled based on, a lot of the history, or, for the most part anyways, in terms of more single player leanings, you're going to see that most of those games focus on one protagonist and a plethora of antagonists, and that's their rogue gallery. Gotham Knights is focusing on 4 protagonists that you can engage the game with over the entirety of the story or whatever progression that they've put in place. This is very significant. And I say this because I know many may not necessarily see a lot of the work that goes into it, but when this game was in development and they talked about it being on the Unreal Engine, I decided to take a whole year to learn Unreal Engine in terms of how you set up a player, how you set up a character, how you set up rules, and how you set up all kinds of different things a character will interact with, and how they interact with it in different conditions. And I can tell you that setting up one player character over the course of a game is a daunting task by itself, because that character has got to fit into the narrative, they have to fit into the world, they have to fit into different mechanics, they have to respond and react to different enemy AI in all kinds of different scenarios. To do it twice is double the task, 3 times triple the task, and 4 times, I think it probably goes to 8 times the task, because every time you're increasing the number of parameters, more and more things have to be taken into consideration. So even though I may have my criticisms, even though I may have my own preferences or things that I nitpick at, it is not without the fact that there is merit within Gotham Knights. So however we look at this game, the fact that we're even voting for multiple main characters, the fact that we're actually saying, oh yeah, we would like to play as these different heroes, is already a huge credit to the developers. Now, we don't know how everybody else is going to see it. They will still be measured with all of the other standards that have been put in place, because this is a project that they signed up for. I mean, have you even looked back and seen how many games have been canceled from under their noses? Like the Arkham sequel, or that was going to go on, like the Batman Beyond sequel, or whatever it is it was going to be, that got canceled and canned. That was going to focus on one character. The reason it got canned, or the reason it got withdrawn or pulled back, we don't necessarily know, but this is what the vision has become. And I think whoever came up with the vision probably was confident enough to think they were going to be able to execute it, and we're looking forward to that execution. So taking everything into consideration, this is one of the more ambitious superhero games that you're going to have out there. Not saying that they're the only ones that have done multiple heroes. I'm just saying that a video game that is going to be judged in light of some of the very best work that has come out in video game development is having a mountain of a task. And with all of the different things, Gotham Knights is going to be one of those games that will not necessarily easily be forgotten. I don't know the quality or the state of the game at release. That's something that we would have to see, but it doesn't in any way reduce how ambitious and, in my opinion, how creative an adventure like this is. In fact, I feel like the developers that have worked on this game would have grown in the process. If you look at, say, a game like Marvel Avengers, where they tried to implement something of this sort, but they were very lean on story and some of the core progressions and wanted to focus more on microtransactions, you also have to say with Gotham Knights, they have stated that there will be no microtransactions or in-game purchases. This is Warner Brothers' stance on these issues. I mean, yeah, we'll take it with a plethora of salt. You can't blame us, because this game was also supposed to come out on last gen, but it didn't. So, you know, that change could happen at any time. But for now, this is what we know. And I wanted to take this video to use it as an opportunity to give credit where credit is due. So, like I said in the comment section, let me hear your thoughts about your main and the difficulty you think is involved in actually implementing 4 major characters across the board of the entire game. Thank you very much for watching the video. I really appreciate you guys so much, and hopefully we'll talk very soon. Peace out.